I'm doing the Trump on stage at his rally, just
Oh,
dancing
the
to the
weave.
music. Yeah,
Oh,
doing the wave. Hey, this is
you gotta do
Wicked
the.
Spursy, Mike, Steve. No, no, sorry. This is Wicked Spursy. No, Steve, Mike, Tristan, and Dave. Boys, sorry for the bumpy start, but it's wonderful to see you as always. Tristan, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, and I actually think a bumpy start might take the early lead for title of the episode. But there's
There you go.
about a full hour left that we have, so that may change at some point. I'm
Yeah, you
doing
never know
good.
what I'm gonna say.
Exactly. You never know what's coming out of that guy's mouth. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I'm looking forward to a new match weekend here. Well, I say that, but I'll might be regretting that at halftime. But looking forward to a fresh start. Hopefully, the boys have been refreshed on their international break and they're posting on their Instagrams all their victories. Hopefully, they can bring some of that to the Spurs clubhouse. But all in all, I'm here. I'm in one piece.
That is wonderful, wonderful to hear. And Tristan, the optimism is oozing tonight. I can feel it, man. I like it. I like what I'm getting.
Gonna
Mike's
really need you boys.
speaking of oozing, did I just see you pour a peanut butter stout? Is that what I just saw happen?
Yeah. You coming in hot with the old German Bavarian
Tis,
mountain climber hat.
tis the season, Michael.
I know that, and I was just gonna say, tis the season for to start with the old stouts.
There you go. Yeah, this is not a Harry Kane or Eric Dyer homage. This is a salute to my heritage, and so it's October. Let's make the best of it. But how are you, Mike? What's going on?
I'm pretty good, Dave. We had so we've missed you, of course.
Likewise.
I got my gifts that Dad brought me back from the stadium, which is very nice. And tonight I'm proud papa again. I this weekend I taught my son the value of playing the spoiler.
How so?
Well, he in his Sunday league, he's playing with a bunch of 14, 15-year-olds, and it's all mixed. So it is the I guess in the youth squads, it's the the boys and the girls teams. So they've done like a co-ed thing, but like there's like 10 of the kids on the four teams are 2012s and 2013 kids. So they're young kids. They're 12-year olds playing with like 14 and 15-year-olds.
Those numbers, I had to do the math for a minute there, man. Those numbers.
I just gave up immediately as soon as you said
It's pretty fun. Well, the whole thing is pretty funny to me because you get all these like little kids, and Lucas is a little dude. He's fast and shit. We've discussed that a number of times, but his team didn't do so well this year in his Sunday league, on his Sunday fall league, and and it was all like an intra club league, so it was really fun to watch. All the parents were having fun with it, but Lucas was not having fun because he doesn't like to lose, and they hadn't won a game, so he wasn't too excited about playing the last game because they were playing the one team that's just been destroying everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, so I had to teach him the value of being the spoiler, because if the red team wins and you beat the blue team, guess what? Red team wins the title, and you've just played the spoiler for the hated blue team.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
And turns out they won 2-1. He scored both goals.
Sweet.
And he was pretty happy. Yeah. So
Hated
like
by the whole blue team fan base forever now. A Colt.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
it was great. It was great. So he got to have his. We went to B Dubs after. He got some chicken wings. We watched Washington football team play against the Baltimoreans, and we had a good old time. Got a good old time.
Mike,
so it was good. It was a good weekend.
You just made me flash back. So I'm going back to 5th grade basketball rec league. I was on the red team, and we were an average team at best. We did okay. And back in that day, I was an adequate basketball player, whereas I became less adequate as I got older. But we finished maybe 500 during the season. But there was one team, the black team, that just pummeled everybody, like obliterated everyone, undefeated. Actually, my future brother-in-law was on the black team, along with a couple future high school buddies of mine. But 5th grade, that happened. 6th grade, the beauty of a season was the red team we were back intact, but we had a couple new players who brought some new dimensions to the squad. And when we played the black team that year, mid-year, they were running away with the league, and we beat them. And the the tears were so satisfying, like watching these guys who had never lost lose and just cry and be so upset. 11-year-old Dave was maybe the happiest he ever was on the sporting floor. Like it was absolutely fantastic, man. Being a spoiler.
It's a true Mighty Ducks story, isn't it?
Absolutely.
I mean, look, there's spoiling by winning. There's also spoiling by losing. Spurs were able to spoil by losing last season. Let us also shout out spoiling by losing and putting in a horrible shift and doing kind of the side eye to your co-fans going, oh, well, that wasn't the worst result, I guess, long run.
Valid twist, man. Well played there,
Yeah.
Tristan. Well played. Well, hey, you guys want to talk about the match this weekend?
There was no
Should
match,
talk
Dave.
about the match.
Exactly. Ain't no match to talk about. So what do we want to talk about?
We're just here to have some fun, man.
Where are we going? We got a number of things we could talk about. We could talk U.S. men's national team. We could talk the state of Spurs. We could talk the future of Spurs. We could talk upcoming matches. Mike, where do you want to take it? What do you
I think we got a little bit of let's just start off with U.S. men's national team. Does that sound okay to everybody?
Sounds okay.
So I think we're playing tonight, aren't we, against Mexico? Is that tonight?
I
think-
Tuesday night, I believe that's
Yeah.
Blistering, scorching hot news from Wicked Spursy.
Right
Are
there.
we playing tonight?
That's
All I wanna
us.
know is practice going to be longer than 2 hours? That's what,
Finger
that's what
on
I
the
wanna
pulse.
know.
Hey, there we go. That's what we're talking about. So let's get right into it because we just got our first taste of potch ball here in the United States. For those of you who have U.S. fans who have hated potch through the years for one affiliation or another, or haven't gotten to see him because you don't watch Premier League and you just watch those other whatever farmers leagues. Welcome. As a Spurs fans would say, Dad has come home, and he brought a new hot wife with him. So, and that new hot wife is the U.S. men's national team. I'm very excited about this. So we got our first taste of what potch ball could look like. 4 days of practice, but we did get to hear or see Tim Ream talk about the training sessions, and I think he had mentioned something about how he'd never in his 14 years had to practice for more than 1 hour with the men's national team, which is very telling.
Mm-hmm.
Which is very telling.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that Potch put him through like 2 hours of on-field stuff. He put him through like tactics sessions, on the side, and also put them through a little bit of the conditioning stuff, and made them go into the gym and work out and stay healthy. It's not an easy system to play in, and we did get to see a little bit of potch ball on display because there was a lot of one-touch passing, a lot of forward movement. We get to see that double pivot. We get to see the team play in the back four on the defense, and then in the build up with a back three. I mean, it was all the hallmarks of Pochettino ball. Little bumps and stuff in the road here, some finishing issues, that kind of stuff. But I think Jedi is going to have a ball playing in the system, and when Dest comes back, he is too.
Yeah, and I think before we start the Potch era, it's important to first make a constituted, informed guess as to what you think the USA's ceiling is. And that's kind of where I'm going to keep my expectations for Potch. I think the USA in recent years has been, maybe even on a world scale, one of the more cursed teams to manage. They're off the back of, right now especially, some really horrible results, a horrible showing in Copa. So he's certainly given himself a very tough task, and that does concern me because he's coming off a Chelsea job, which I think there was a lot of problems that had nothing to do with him. He seems hell-bent on giving himself the hardest absolute jobs in world football. And Spurs were no easy task at the time, and as you both know well, we credit him largely to the club we are now. It's impossible to talk about Spurs without Poch, but I worry greatly because I think, remember, we're Spurs fans, so we have sort of unlimited patience with him, whereas there's a lot of other fans who are not satisfied with his pedigree. They're not satisfied with his resume. So I'm just hoping the U.S. don't, pick up like a 2 or 3 match run of terrible results and people start to do the pile-on for him. I think he's deserved a slightly easier job for a long time, a cushier job, if you will. Like, one wouldn't even come to mind. I thought he was actually a great match at PSG, but I'm just concerned that he's given himself another really tough task. And again, this USA team, the ceiling might just not be that high. Like for me, and my closing point would be, it's hard to say this after Copa, but like squeaking through your World Cup group and then losing in the first or second round, I don't really give a shit at that point. If we just get to knockouts, I think that's in itself impressive. But do either of you guys think the USA right now, Poch or no Poch, is capable of getting through a World Cup group stage? Because all I can think of is the Copa showing, and it's like the World Cup's even more difficult. So I don't.
I'd have to see. I'd have to see a lot of different play in coming months in order to
way different, like worlds different play.
Yeah. And let's be honest, go back to Poch at Spurs. Like he's got to clear out some dead weight, and who is that dead weight? That's an interesting question. Like who does he clear out, and who does he make room for?
I think by the looks of it, maybe we'll get to see him tonight. But I think that Weston McKennie is on the edge of being one of those folks who can be cut out. He did talk about
he talked about protecting him, didn't he? Did I see that?
I don't know if he did yet. I didn't see that.
Injury.
Yeah.
What I did see and what I did hear out of Pochettino was him talking about how there's a lot of untapped talent that we haven't necessarily looked at in this country, and he thinks there is talent in the MLS that. And especially for right now, these are players who are fit and who have been playing a full season and are ready to go. Whereas a lot of the big name players that we know, haven't necessarily fallen into their season yet, right? If they're still trying to get going.
Sure.
And we saw a lot of that rustiness, coming out of like Josh Sargent, that like Josh Sargent had that ball that was a sitter, right? And he did that one thing that you're not supposed to do, is like that kind of lean back, and he fluffed that one. And there was a couple it was great to see Yunus Musa get on the board. It was and it was good to see Pulisic. It looks like they're going to be using him as like a Son type of a position. So
they're in horrible form, but at least he does pick up a Pulisic that is in scorching hot form right now.
Right. The other thing that I'd like to mention too, and you mentioned the form that we saw in the Copa and what we saw toward the end of the World Cup. Like, I think it's a different team. I think it's going to be a different team that we're going to see out there. And I think that the tactics are going to be different. So you're not going to see that kind of, I don't know, passing the ball around the midfield looking for an opening in the long, you'll see some long diagonals, but I mean, you're not going to see a lot of these just long, wide looping balls trying to get the ball forward. I think you're going to see a lot of build-up play, and I think it's going to be fast and fun. And the ceiling for the United States, I think quarterfinals of the World Cup by the time we get there. That's probably the ceiling.
That's like where like Denmark goes usually, or like.
Well, it's right now the United States is ranked ahead of Denmark, so that's great.
But that would be success. I think that would be success
in FIFA. I believe so.
FIFA.
How about this for a question? We saw Tommy Tuchel announced today as England manager. Is there a world where you would
fucking nose picker?
Is there a world where you'd rather see Tuchel with the U.S. team and Poch with England's team, or are they the right guys in the right place?
I think if it was between those two managers and those two clubs, they're absolutely in the right place. Like
Why is that?
Tuchel looking at US, it would probably be like more of a passion project or like the last thing he does, or like he would take over if Tuchel were to work for the USA team, it would be like as director of football operations. Probably not as manager. I just think that's where he's probably at. That's where he's earned himself to be.
Gotcha.
England seemed to be doing the big club deal where let's go for Tuchel, let's get immediate, let's like win a World Cup. They've already been to plenty of finals, and then if it doesn't work out a couple years after, then we'll shift it and we'll find somebody new. So I don't hate that. There is a certain proven, that does work at times. That's worked for other clubs. So I don't hate the appointment because I think England's they're just so close to right there. But I guess that's a more positive spin on because he's pretty toxic. I mean, that's also a proven part of his resume.
Valid. Mike, what are your thoughts on that?
Tuchel for me is weird. He's a guy. He's a guy who wears out his welcome everywhere he goes.
He does.
Like you said, he's toxic. I find it kind of weird that like, yeah, again, like that England, that the US would go for big club managers versus managers who have maybe been proven on the world stage. But I mean, to be honest, I find it odd that like both of them went for non-American, non-English managers. To be honest, and coming off the back of for the United States, coming off the back of Bruce Arena and then Berhalter, like this is a big change, and I think the same for England's manager Tuchel. I think it's going to be a big change for that club from the way Southgate played, and it's going to be an interesting year and a half. I think in international football,
I think England would be like one of the only clubs where the Tuchel blueprint would work. Actually, like so many other clubs now are seeing past the, like Spurs, great example. For so long, we just hired killer after killer after killer, and each one went worse than the last. I loved Mourinho, and I still do. I think maybe there's a fair amount of Spurs fans who would join me in that sentiment. Some people hated him. Regardless of how you felt, he was undoubtedly a titan manager of the game, and he was the most demanding presence whenever our team arrived to any stadium. So I think England, because they have come closer than any other club to hardware without actually earning it, they might be the only team close enough to where he just employs like they needed like a cutthroat one game finals tactical manager. That was the only thing they were short of, I think, at least in the World Cup and in the Euros beforehand. Like they just needed a shithouse win because they were getting convincing wins throughout the tournament. They play really amazing football. England are a fun team to watch, and they've only gotten more fun, I think, in the last 10 or so years. But I think this could work for England, going out on a limb to say that. But I also think the market, I mean, the England job is kind of in its own echelon. It's like the unmissable call, regardless of who you are or the type of football you play. The England job is like amazing, and so many managers would love to do that. So even if they ride Tuchel for a couple seasons, let's say they win a World Cup, which would be still an insane feat in its own, when they complete it. But if it doesn't work out, they go maybe like Eddie Howe in a couple of years. I've been saying for years, Eddie Howe would be like the ideal England manager. Or they just get a guy who, a couple more seasons in the Prem, and then they can promote him. And maybe it's supposed to be a job you do every, 2 years. Not that that's great for the game, but do you know what I mean? Like the club football or international football is so hard because the team changes a lot. Players stop playing. Your team is rotating so often. And I just think it might even be better suited for a guy to come in every 2 seasons or 3 or 4 even, and, just like put together a good team that plays together for a while and somebody else comes in. So I do like it, the appointment.
Very nice. All right. This has been our international edition of half of Wicked Spursy. Next thing on my mind is, hey, Mike, what you drinking?
Dave, I knew that was coming.
Did you?
No, you didn't. Liar.
Okay. We're like 10 minutes early.
Liar, Mike, liar.
Yeah, absolutely. This was a spitball.
Well, here's the deal, Dave. Here's the deal. I was at I went down to my parents this weekend, down in good old Pittsford, Vermont.
Good old Rutland County.
celebrating their 50th wedding anniversary,
Oh,
and
nice.
yeah,
Congrats to
it was,
them. That's cool.
yeah, they made it. They made it. My dad had just had shoulder surgery, so of course, like we reserved this room at the restaurant, and
What restaurant
they
you go to?
the South Side. I mean, South Side Steakhouse. Like it's
Is
the only
that
place to go.
Jerry's?
Classy Rutland. That's what we're talking about. Look,
Classy
there-
Rutland.
There you go. I like it. I
So
like it.
yeah, so they arranged the table in this room in like a horseshoe, so it's easier for the wait staff to
Sure.
come in and do their thing. But at one point, I'm like watching my dad. He had, like I said, just had shoulder surgery, so I'm watching him like at his lamb chop, trying to cut it, but he's got his kind of fork like with his arm in the sling, and he's trying to cut, and I just watched him struggle and struggle and struggle, and I was like, I feel like I should either help him, which I try to do, and he kind of like slapped my hand.
Yeah.
there's no
Don't
way.
don't emasculate me, boy.
There's no
Right?
way.
Yeah, so then I was like, why don't you just pick it up with the fork and just chew on it?
Is that
My
what
Look
you
at
dad
your
would.
hand.
Yeah.
Just like spin it a little bit, and then just
Yeah,
take
yeah.
bites out the side and slowly work.
Giant kebab.
So
Yeah,
so
give a shit.
anyway, yeah, no, it was a nice dinner. We had some cake and all that stuff afterwards, but on the way down there, I kept on giving them updates as to where we were,
Mhm.
and I forgot that I was going through Brandon. So, of course, what did we have to do? We had to stop at Foley Brothers Brewing.
Of course you did. Yeah. Pieces
Ooh.
of
Of course,
What do you? What
I've
do you got
never
for
heard
us
what's
tonight?
good at Foley Brothers.
Everything. Is good at Foley
everything.
Brothers. Everything is.
Let's take a
good.
little quick Google break while you.
Everything is. Good.
Absolutely. So there was two new ones I haven't had there yet, and this is the one I'm going to go. This is a single hopped IPA, single hopped with Citra,
Okay. Nice.
and it's just called
Oh,
Foley
cool.
Brothers Citra. It's got a nice little tree there. It's the
I mean,
got the
Tristan,
fall landscape.
It's worth saying I can get Foley Brothers at the gas station down on the corner. You know, like
Do you think I
that's.
could get it here?
Ooh, I don't know.
maybe,
Do
right?
they distribute, Mike? Any idea?
I don't know about that.
This place
Not
looks
really
pretty
positive.
awesome, I gotta say.
We could perhaps arrange.
It's right on the Neshabe Golf Course. It's like on the 10th hole. It's really nice.
I'll send
Yeah.
you guys up some Trillium if you send me down some Foley Brothers, and we can.
You get a fucking deal.
We work something out there. Absolutely.
Oh man, this already smells good. Gonna pour it into my handy dandy Alchemist
Ooh,
glass, of
fancy.
course.
I like the glass ding you did there. That was good.
That was unintentional.
Yeah, I was
That was
gonna
good,
say,
man. That's a.
sounded
I
like
think that's a good
perfect mistake.
tradition. You should do that every time. By the way, Tristan, loving the buffalo hat, man.
Oh,
City of good neighbors.
Thank
That's
you.
Solid.
Look, they're not a sponsor, so I hesitate to bring them up, but this is from our friends at Holy Smokes Supply Co. They're based out of Buffalo. It's like one guy, I think. It's like an artist conglomerate, but he makes cool stuff.
Listen, we are always looking for artist conglomerate sponsors, and
Yeah.
yeah,
They
So
make
we-
cool
we-
stickers. We could always do Wicked Spursy, Holy Smokes stickers.
yeah. I could see Wicked Spursy brought to you by Holy Smokes. I think there's
Yes.
something to that if we want to work on that. Let's-
very brandable too. I mean, that Holy Smokes is like goes with anything. It's like the white rice of the clothing brand.
very nice.
Anyway, while you guys were talking, I was just admiring the artwork on this.
You're supposed to be drinking, Mike. That's we buy time for you to make.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
That's what we do.
Single hopped Citra IPA. Citra is my favorite hop. Oh yeah, lots of tropical notes in there.
Nice color.
Very nice.
Yeah. It's
Looks like a biscuit head to me. Is that a biscuit head?
biscuit. No.
No,
That's soapy. It's
all right.
soapy.
The contrast on the old Riverside, it's giving me biscuit, but I trust you.
Like the Washington hat always throws me. I always forget you're a Washington football fan.
Mike, you got your new one near you? Is it close by or no?
No, it's upstairs.
Oh,
What the
He's
hell
got a
just
new-
happened? The
he's got a new
contrast
one
on my.
he's got a
Anyway.
sassy Commanders hat for you.
The
That's
Commanders
interesting.
are putting together a little campaign this season, huh?
They are. They're
They are. They are. Once they actually, well, they've actually played two very good offenses. Anyway, this beer is good, man. It's not the best I've had there, but I mean, it is a typical single IPA. Not going to blow your face off. Not going to like. It's not going to get you hammered, off of one. It's a
Oh,
good
thanks for
single
that
hop, single.
challenge, by the way.
But I really like it. It's It's got a little bubble gum like to it, which I wouldn't expect out of a Citra. But it does have all those tropical notes that you look for, and that like on the nose, like straight off, like you open it up and you can smell it's a Citra hop. I like the beer. I am going to finish this probably before the end of the next segment. So I am going to go on.
Hold on. Before you rate it, Tristan, I just sent my prediction to you on the Wicked Crew
Dude,
chat.
that's what I was going to guess.
Yeah, then throw that out. Let's be on the same.
I'm staying
same wavelength here, man. You're dialed in. All right.
That's exactly what I was going to guess.
Solid, Mike. Let's hear it, buddy. What do you got?
I'm going to go 3.8 on this one.
Oh, we got it.
Double dinger.
Whoa, look at you guys. Look at you guys.
I'm doing my
bringing it
3-point
tonight.
dance. I'm eating the cereal bowl on the sideline with my teammates right now. That's the level of celebration we have.
Listeners, this has been the Wicked Spursy podcast. We are done.
Forever.
We finish on a high note. Yeah, we will create a new podcast from here.
I said I get it. What, 4 episodes in? I feel like I kind of have I'm like, okay, I get the idea of it. It is part of the reaction, but
dialed in. Oh, Steve!
I'm happy. Yeah,
Steve's gonna be so disappointed, Mike. I'm sad for Steve that he had to miss the. We could have no, I won't say a 3-way. That would have been a long thing to say.
a 3-way with Steve.
Yeah.
It would have been cinema.
Yeah. So I mean, are we doing a play? Are we doing a song? Are we going back to a song? What are we doing
Your
here?
choice, buddy. What's coming to you? You gotta.
I like Aaron Lennon for this one.
Interesting. Why?
You know, so I feel like, you know, Aaron Lennon's one of those guys. He's a love him or hate him guy. He wasn't a great finisher always, but you know he's going to give you exactly what you want. He kind of is like a Brennan Johnson of old. He's one of these guys who's going to be exciting. He's going to be fun to watch. He's going to run at you. He's going to and sometimes he's going to finish and sometimes he's not going to finish. You know, he's going to score goals. He's going to put a cross in. And he does the job that he's expected to do.
He always got a little bit of Lucas Moura in him to me, but I think Lucas Moura was still very underrated. He is a very, very good player in his time for Spurs. I think they both, I mean, obviously Lucas Moura was on our Champions League almost winning team, but they both played through some tough Spurs sides and they really put in some performances when there was not a lot to be cheering about. So I feel like they have that in common.
Yeah. So
very nice, man. This has been
getting too easy.
Yeah, this has been Wicked Spursy. We dialed it in, man. Tristan, well done.
I haven't had a bad one in a long time.
Well, let's keep it that way. That's good.
Yeah.
Hey,
no,
I tapped the research department. You brought up Lucas Moura. You guys know how he's doing, how he's playing? I'm trying to find out.
Oh my God!
With Sao Paulo.
Yeah.
I guess I'm seeing 20 matches, 6 goals, 4 assists, and 3 yellows. That's what we got on the.
That's pretty good.
That's what we got on the overall data.
6 goals in 20 matches is not awful.
Not awful
for a 323-year-old right winger.
Yeah, exactly. He's playing with 15-year-olds. So
Lucas Moura was born the year I graduated from high school. How scary is that?
No way, really?
Way.
Dave, you look good. You look good, man. You look. Honestly.
Thanks, buddy. You keep it coming, man. Keep it coming.
Yeah.
Keep it coming.
Yeah, that's actually. I don't even believe that stat's real. Like, I feel like you guys are the same age.
That's fantastic. Well, we do have the same haircut, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. You know.
Hey, so let's look ahead. At the weekend, we play the team that calls a hand-me-down Olympic Stadium their home. The squad from Westham. What are your thoughts on the Ham coming up this weekend? Anybody got anything to say about that one?
Not good, man. Not good at all.
Not good. Talk about it.
This list feels like it grows longer each season, but West Ham are absolutely a bogey club for us. They
sure are.
Turn up like West Ham, Salona, West Ham, Madrid. They are all the above when we're either playing them at their stadium, but even when they come to our stadium, it's just they are a horrendous 90 minutes to watch. Mikel Antonio becomes the greatest player ever when we play them.
And no game is ever put away, right? No matter how many.
It's never. We'll score first. I bet we'll score quick, and then it's just going to be an absolute roller coaster of a following 75 minutes. I don't have a great because we're not drawing this year, which is a concern to me. Actually, that's not a place I want to be because as much as draws can be disappointing, they're really valuable, and we would have taken a couple. We would have taken a Brighton draw for sure this year. You know, we there's matches we would have hurt, but we would have taken draws, and we're just not that type of club this season. Which when you don't win, it's just you lose a lot of points that way. So this, I'm quite concerned. I know it's home, and that makes me feel a little bit better, but we just West Ham have felt like a team that have been waiting to start playing really well, and a lot of times Dr. Tottenham is the club that you play when you start to play really well. So I would say I have a fair to high level of concern, if I were to put it gently. Am I wrong to feel that, you think?
Mike, wrong, right? What do you think?
If we don't come out and pump this fucking team, I think there's big fucking problems happening.
Would you be more specific? What do you mean by that? What do you mean? What's the problem, do you think?
I think that so West Ham is probably so far this season one of the most boring fucking teams to watch.
Mm-hmm.
They don't defend well. They don't attack well. They have a lot of really good, scary fucking players. And for some reason, Thomas Suchek keeps. I don't know. He's been the same age for fucking the past 10 years.
He's going to score a header this weekend, by the way. Anybody, I don't gamble on sports or anything for that matter, but if anybody wants a free winner, pick Thomas Suchek for a header off a corner against Spurs this weekend. That's like $300 in your pocket if
Tristan,
you want.
I can't disagree with you. They have those players that just scare me, right? They have that handful, and it's Antonio and
Paqueta and
Paqueta.
I think good.
Jared Bowen, who I absolutely I cannot stand. I think if there's one guy, it's Mikel Antonio, like you said.
Wait, no, he doesn't play for them anymore.
Yeah, thank God.
Mikel Antonio does scare me. But you know, I mean, I feel like you shut down Jared Bowen, which we're gonna have to do. We're gonna have to find a way to shut down Jared Bowen. I think you shut down Jared Bowen and you shut down all ability to score. And to be creative, like he's their creative force. He's their He's their goal scorer. I honestly, I short of making a prediction on this one, like if Spurs don't come out and really pump this team, I think there's bigger problems that we have than we actually even realize. This team is ripe for the taking. Like I said, they've just been pretty much a 1-1 draw team the entire fucking season. So
let's go further with the why. Like, why might that happen? I saw an article last week. I didn't read it. I'm just admitting I did a headline perusal and moved on. But you know, it was suggesting that Romero is a problem. Basically, is what I was seeing. Do we have any players that have you concerned right now? And I guess what I'm talking about is the guys that would throw a boner out there that would lead to a West Ham not getting pumped by us. Like, is there anybody that you got your eye on saying a little bit dicey, a little bit iffy right now? Thoughts?
We've been hurting on the wing. I think not so much anybody out there would be a problem, but if Son does not play, that's a huge problem. I think his health is still in question. It was good that he had the international break to hopefully heal up. I know he wasn't with Korea, so he just, you know, ideally we have a rested, healthier Son, but
first time in a long time for that.
Very long time. So that's, you know, which is also a little bit concerning in a way about the extent or the seriousness of the injury, but you know, not to single out Werner, because we've spoke ad nauseum on this podcast about, you know, when you single out guys can come good, guys can start producing, and we've seen it with Brennan Johnson in the best way. So not to like single in on Werner, but in general, just we seem to still kind of lack a front three potency. Two truly deadly wingers that are both firing on all cylinders at the same time, which is why the automatic is so awful, and it sounds like that will be well into the new year before we see him again, which is tough. But I just, you know, going out with a front three of like Johnson, Solanke, Werner just would not instill in me a whole bunch of confidence. But furthermore, West Ham, I think, embody everything about what makes Spurs. They expose all of our weaknesses in a way that most other clubs aren't able to do, and that they just really are able to throw the kitchen sink at us. They can put a bunch of guys forward. They can be loud. They can when teams are rough with Spurs, when teams are physical, and when teams are in their face and talking shit and playing dirty behind the scenes, that's when they can get points against us. We become really susceptible at that point, and I think that's a
Jared
huge
Bowen
part.
is the king of dirty,
Absolutely.
sneaky,
Michael
dirty play.
Antonio loves a go. He loves to get into it with people. I'm sure he'll love to get at all our defenders, and Romero will give it right back, but
and get a red in the process.
and get a red after opening up his whole entire leg on the field. But West Ham concern me way more than most other clubs. Like I would put them in the top 5 or 6 of like clubs where I have associate horrible memories with playing them. So I just that to me transcends any one-on-one, any on paper who's better, any amount of money spent or who had a better window. To me, just the juju of that just transcends all of it. Like Brighton have become, Brighton are largely similar, and we saw what happened a couple weeks ago. So it's just it's the final step. I think we have 11 guys we can put out there who are very good. The end result and the ceiling for this club and this manager, I really do believe is so massive, but just you can count on one finger or maybe 2 fingers the amount of club. There are a lot of clubs who would never get a result against Brighton like we did. It's like Liverpool, Arsenal, City are one of them. Maybe they'll drop points, but they would never lose a 2-goal lead against Brighton, never in 100 games. So we have a mental hurdle we're still climbing. It's made me kind of recalibrate largely what my expectations of the seasons are, to be honest. Not to make one game too big, but just it made me realize there's a lot of the final hurdle, which is just we have to believe we're going to win. We have to believe, truly believe, not go into halftime feeling great and we're getting opposing.
And beat the teams we should beat.
Exactly. Right? It's just those games are the games you just can never lose. There's no ifs, ands, or buts, no questions asked. And it was a reminder in the worst, most harsh possible way that there's a huge mental hurdle we still have to climb as a club.
Mike, what do you think with what Tristan said?
I largely agree. It's the wings. I know a lot has been, like you said, made about Romero. There was some talk. I did get to listen to a little bit of the extra inch, and there was some talk about his travel, the amount of travel. He's the Premier League player with the most amount of travel for international duty over the past few seasons. And and that's largely due to the fact that he has to go to Argentina, and he's like the one Premier League player, like outfield player, that has to perform on that Argentinian team, and that's tough. That's really super tough. All that travel, and Spurs don't provide private jets, apparently. But I mean so I don't think that's Romero's issue this year. I mean, sure, there's a lot of overuse. I think that in the recruiting, Spurs did not do themselves any favors by not going out and getting another center back that can play both sides. But Tristan's absolutely right. It's the wing play, and I think we get Odegaard back. It provides a little bit of stability on one side or the other because he can play both sides. We get Son back, we get Richarlison back. Like that's shored up a little bit. I think that we have a small issue in the midfield with Decky and Madison not having necessarily like for like replacements in their positions, because they are the like for like basically, and they're both on the field at the same time. Maybe that's what Ange is trying to do this year. I don't know. But you get something different from Sarr, you get something different from Bergvall when they're making those substitutions, those transitions. So I think the wing play is definitely an issue. On the other side, we do also have probably an overuse issue with our fullbacks or wingbacks, whatever you want to call them.
That's also a good point.
I mean, Adogi,
Those boys get minutes.
they do get minutes, man, and unfortunately, we don't have coverage for Pedro Porro right now. You can say Archie Gray all you want, but I want Archie Gray, you know, playing more
Defense
centrally.
even, but still, he's mostly been playing left back.
Yeah, I need him playing more centrally. And Jed, I need more minutes out of him. I think that Ange might have an idea of what he wants to do, but he has to have every single person on that first team squad healthy to do what he wants to do. And I think that January is going to be very, very telling for this club. We're going to need to bring in a winger. We're going to need to bring in a midfielder. We're going to need to bring in a central defender. The other question is, yeah, I mean, it may not even be a question here because Bentancur is probably going to be saddled with a few game suspension for his comments that he made over the offseason. So we're going to need coverage for Basuma too, and maybe Archie's the guy for that type of rotation, but I don't know. For me, it's the wings, and I completely agree with Tristan. We need people who are ruthless, fucking absolutely ruthless finishers. And maybe maybe our German friend used to be ruthless, or he was for that one season that but he can't seem to get out of his own way right now as far as putting the ball in the net, and I would love for him to have kind of some sort of renaissance, but I don't see it happening, and I see us canceling his loan in January. So
And we
All
do
right.
have that. Who's the winger? Young Min Hyuk, I believe his name is.
Yeah, coming in January.
he'll be coming in January. That's another
Which is
kid
big.
like
I hope. And by the way, hey man, fly over here ready to go because we badly need wingers right now.
Right,
Like,
for
don't
sure.
come off thinking you're just gonna get a little cameo every
Gonna-
once in a while. And
Gonna bet in as they. As
well,
they say.
and
Yeah.
Ange mentioned too protecting Vuskovic too.
yeah,
So I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on. I mean, utilize Mikey Moore as much as you can too, as much as you can without ruining him because he's 17 years old. But he is.
got to get Mikey out there for a couple games. Got to give him a run. Give him 2 or 3 games in a row. Even I think would go. You're right, Mike. It's a great point because I'm kind of over here like salivating, like put him in. I don't care. And
Well, it's because he's built like a
guy-
fucking man, right? At 17 years old,
Yeah.
like
Yeah, he's the physicality's there, but I think you make a great point, but I would love to see him get like
You talking?
2 or
Are you
3
talking prem games or just games?
Good question. Because prem games are sort of the creme de la creme of like appearances,
Yeah, and
Not-
for
not
what's
the-
worth, just to give you a sequence: West Ham, Palace, City, Villa, Ipswich,
God.
City. Like there's a stretch there,
Yeah.
There's
one of those city games is a cup game, right? So
Yeah.
Yes, you're right about that.
and Pep is like
First
I'm not
one.
using my first team for
The
that.
first one is a cup game. Yeah, sorry about
Pep was like, I don't care. It's the I don't
Just
care
like,
about
hey,
Pep.
I'm not either.
Yeah. We might get to see kids.
I guess what I'm saying is there's no good run to just throw them out there in the prem.
Right.
It's tricky, really tricky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, by the way, City Villa back to back is devilish right now. Just the
Mhm.
thought of that, but yeah. I mean, no, I think I'm doing the maybe slightly brash solution, which is just play our 17-year-old star boy into the ground this
Yeah,
season.
just run them.
I'm glad that 1 or 2 of you are here to check me on that, but I do think giving him a couple games and maybe it's like you think about would a sit help Werner or would it just completely unravel even more than what he already is. It's good. It was so nice against United that we were destroying them and he was having a horrible game because I'm like, you know what, that's fine. We don't need to it doesn't need to be an awful thing where we sub him out and he was the one who gets shit on the most. It was like, hey man, whatever, like you're gonna have 3 more chances in the next 10 minutes. Like just keep going out there trying to score. It's just not working for him and everybody's had health issues this year too. I think I never want to sound like the guy who's we had so many injuries, but I think a lot of clubs there's a serious injury record right now, and we're not excluded from that. You know, we've had, like I said, wingers go down that are now you see how important they would be, and especially in the run of games we have. But yeah, I don't know. I do feel slightly better, and I'll put it this way as a more positive spin. Yeah, like this is a team we have horrible results against, but that would just make getting all 3 points like a huge result. Like next week we could regroup and be like, man, that was really an impressive 3 points we earned. So I'm still trying to keep that possibility in my mind, but it's also 7:30 on a Saturday, so you know right away your
It
whole
is.
weekend's screwed when they lose. You know,
You
it's like
see,
that's
that's
the
the mindset we got to get out of is like the early Saturday games.
Listen,
I love them, but when we win,
I love the 9 o'clock, 9:30. That's the prime time because I've had a cup of coffee. I've been able to ease into it, but 7:30 is slightly early. But it
The
does get you
7:30 is
down
going to be
those-
nice for me because I got to bring my daughter to the JV state championship jamboree.
Ooh, there you
So
go. Nice.
so we'll get that over with. We'll get the match over with, and then I can be sufficiently pissed off. So when I go to this jamboree and there's 47 fucking teams there, that volleyball is one of these sports that drives me crazy because it's so loud. You know, you've been into a basketball gym, right?
I actually coached
It's
volleyball
so
for a stretch.
yeah, it's
I played
so
for 10 years.
loud and
Yeah.
obnoxious in
It
that
is
gym.
loud. It
Yeah.
is loud. There's a lot of
And
whistles. It's like, man, my mom, when I was home over the weekend, I was watching beach volleyball with my mom, and they were doing a type of volleyball where it's like king of the court.
Mm.
So you're just,
Mm.
if you win, you stay on the side. If you lose, you come off, and the team that has the most wins on the winning side wins. Worded that
Nice.
horribly, but anyway, it's like extra whistles because it's just it's whistle after whistle. My mom was like, "Wouldn't that drive you insane?" And I was
Yeah,
like, "I never really thought about it. I kind of phased it out after a while." But yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it
a lot of
drives you absolutely insane. And I
Yeah.
love going and watching my daughter play because like the way she's improving and becoming an athlete is just amazing to watch. But yeah, the gymnasiums.
Yeah, it's a phase, my man.
And I don't even know what it is about high school in Vermont. I don't know if it's like this everywhere else in the world, but like high school sports in Vermont, they love putting up a fucking banner in the gym.
Mhm.
They
They're-
do.
an
like good
undersized gym
tifo.
that's not really very large.
It's
right?
a yeah, right.
Yeah.
Like they have to have 2 or 3 gymnasiums for CVU, you know,
Yeah, exactly.
for all of their banners. Like, and they're in CVU's like debate team 2024 champions.
Right.
They want to put up a banner for anything.
Badass.
You know
You know
what?
what?
But you know what? Colchester High School, we are bass fishing powerhouse in this state.
Boom. That's the thing. Absolutely. You know, I'm looking at that. I'm excited about, boys. Thanksgiving. Listen to my day on Thanksgiving. Obviously, the family revelry and whatnot. But we got Bears Lions, 12:30 Eastern,
That'll be a good one.
and then we got Spurs Roma Europa at 3 p.m. Eastern.
On
I got
Thanksgiving, is
I
that
got
right?
that is on Thanksgiving. I got an afternoon of hopefully joy in play after we eat the smoked turkey that I've been working on for the previous 24 hours. That's what I'm talking about. We're
You gonna smoke
approaching-
that turkey?
Wow,
Smoking
that's
that
actually
turkey, baby.
incredible. There's a few of Europa games I'm really excited to watch, especially Rangers. That's like a big one I have circled.
That'll be fun.
That's
Oh,
a
yeah.
December game too, but
Yeah.
that's a Thanksgiving game. The last time Spurs played on Thanksgiving was Europa League, and it was like Harry Winks scored like a crazy long field goal. We were still kind of in the trenches and playing a lot of the teams that like we're not making out of the group stages, like teams we've never really heard of. But yeah, that's the Thanksgiving. I think we won our last Thanksgiving game, so that kind of gives me good mojo for
Very nice. Let's win our next one too.
yeah, yes, please.
It's a month away, Dave. It's a month away.
It's true.
Just-
It's a long way off. Long way off.
I've had to sell my soul to the devil, and I've taken call for the next 2 Thanksgivings,
Have you? Well, you gotta pay
which
off
sucks
the
because it's my favorite holiday.
Yeah.
I love me some turkey.
It's just called though, so you might not get called in. You might.
It's true.
You might get to stay home.
That's true.
Boys, let's pivot to closing thoughts. Let's
Yeah.
talk about what's on our minds as we wrap this one up. Good episode so far. Nice conversations. Good things coming up. Tristan, what is on your mind as you share your closing thoughts?
You know, I think anyone who's listened to me the last hour would know that I'm not mega hopeful about this weekend's result, but there have been just a few times where I've been sure, I've had that gut feeling that we're going to drop points and we end up getting a win, and it's delightful. And I'm gonna I'm gonna run on the treadmill Saturday morning at the same time Spurs are playing.
Hmm.
This justifies my frustration with them occasionally because I'm saying to myself, look, if I can hit the treadmill for free on a Saturday morning, not making 100 grand a week, you need to hustle. You need to put out a good result. You need to be
Valid.
out there running as well. So
Valid.
it justifies my frustration with them. But what I'm hoping is that I can just kind of cheer on the treadmill in public, and hopefully they'll give me something good to smile about Saturday morning. But we'll see. We'll see.
All right, fair enough. How about you, Mike? Closing thoughts.
I will not be on a treadmill Saturday morning.
Do it.
I will say I have lost 35 pounds, so that's a big deal.
That's a celebration, man.
That is
It's
a celebration.
Celebration.
It's a celebration, bitches. So there was something that we didn't really get to discuss, and there's some rumors floating around out there, and it's going to be a little bit of a callback to our Eddie Howe discussion. Amanda Stavely is rumored, and her husband are rumored to be positioning themselves for a stake. It looks like a 25% stake in our club, which is about 600 million. They already have apparently 500 million in funding available. Like that, there might be a not necessarily a takeover happening, but a significant amount of money coming into this club from another investor, which for one might start spelling the end for Mr. Levy, and for all of you purple and gold people, that's nice things. But I think it could also be good things. From what I've heard from folks that work for Newcastle United, our good friend Natalie, she has said that Amanda was like beloved at Newcastle, and she did a lot of good things. She brought in PIF, which in turn kind of turned around and fucked her over, and bought out the club from her. But she is looking for new investment, and right now I think it's between what is it? Is it AC Milan and Spurs that they're talking right now? And if she comes in, she has already said that she would have rather had stayed at Newcastle. She got to know the people, in and around the club. She got to know the people in the town, and she kind of endeared herself to that club and the fans to her. So, London's a different animal than Newcastle, right? So for what it's worth, if this happens, I think it could be a good thing for Spurs. She's not a person who comes in and wants to, tear everything down and destroy a team, even though the rumors are that she wants to get rid of Ange and bring in Eddie Howe immediately. But obviously, what have we always said, Dave, about our ITK? ITK isn't real, right?
It's true.
So don't worry about any Ange's going away and Eddie Howe's coming in. It's nonsense right now. But when asked of her about the Tottenham rumors, she said, "I can't say right now." So I mean,
which means I'm doing it.
Which means we're doing it, yeah. Which means we're doing it. It's probably basically done. So I mean, that could bring cash injection. That could bring a lot of good things for this club, and I'm excited to see what happens with it.
I mean, listen, this is a simplistic mindset. If you have bazillions of dollars or pounds or whatever the unit is, and you want to invest in something, that is well situated and has the ability to make you bazillions more dollars. And show me another club outside of Spurs that is better situated for all the above. If I'm if I got that money and I'm looking to invest, that's the type of team I'm looking to buy.
Right
So
now, they have that concert money coming in. They got that F1 money
NFL.
coming in.
they're
They got the
well-run,
NFL money coming
they're
in.
well structured.
And it's not if an NFL team comes, it's when at this point, because eventually they're going to be able to figure out the logistics of it, even though it's a hard puzzle to put together. Like we saw again over this past couple of weeks how the NFL is becoming a huge commodity in England, and I think that's a good thing, especially for Tottenham, who Daniel Levy purpose built that stadium
For sure.
for that NFL investment. So,
But at the same time, and shout out to our buddy Adam, loving loyal listener. He was like, "Wait,
Yeah.
are they playing at Spurs?" So clearly the NFL did not do a very good job of promoting in England about the fact that those games were going on.
they sell out
Spurs.
quickly though, and
Yeah,
I know
this
it's
is
to a
fair.
lot of Americans, but like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of cool social media out there. If you go and look for the reels of English fans talking about how they became American football fans and how they chose their team, it's pretty
Oh.
fun stuff.
Bears. That's all.
The
all I'm saying
Bears.
about that. Bears. And say what you will about Levy, but he may not have been a good steward of the table position over the past 20 plus years. He's been a good steward of the club though, and he has positioned the club for whatever the future looks like. He's positioned it for it. So I have respect for that.
Yeah,
haters
you
can
could
hate.
do worse. You could for sure do so much worse in terms of
Yeah.
the person who actually owns your football club and runs it and makes financial decisions. I mean, he's also like the root of a lot of the frustration.
Mhm.
I do genuinely think that. I think some people feel some way, some people feel another way, but I absolutely agree. I mean, you don't. If you talk to any owner who's like been on a podcast or given an interview, Jim Ratcliffe was just made this point very well. It's like the way that football clubs do well is you it's so much more than the football, unfortunately. Really what you need to do is like establish a community around the stadium. You need to make a stadium people love going to. You need to basically list it out exactly what Spurs have done from point to point. You need to form partnerships with other sports leagues. Widens your fan base. The revenue that comes in, your revenue that comes in is so important. It's like all of what fake financial fair play is all about, but like there's a huge value to that. It's also nice. I think there's still, to me, it's worthwhile that I'm not following a club that's like drenched in allegations or like financial misdeeds or like horrible things going on in the back room. Really, the worst of it happens on the field, and I mean that with love. Like the worst of it is like
That's
horrendous,
terrible, but true.
like exits early out of Carabao Cup games to like Coventry or something, or like just stuff like that, where it's like we are the worst of the result of the way that the club is run, really. But you make a great point in that. I mean, you could do exponentially worse, so much worse.
We started with Potch, and Tristan brought it back to Potch there at the end. There, did you see that?
Right.
That was the commentary reference.
The
Well
bow.
done. Well done.
Dad came back with a new hot wife.
He sure did.
It's right.
All right, boys. Tristan, if Steve were here, if you
Uh-oh.
were here in his stead, what would you say as we say goodbye to our loving, loyal listeners?
For sure, don't be an asshole.
Yep.
And if you step outside, bring a coat. It's getting toasty out there.
Darn right. 43 degrees at my place this evening. Absolutely. Yeah. That's Fahrenheit, by the way. Mike, how about you? What would you have to say?
I would say that, well, guys, it is getting cold out there right now. I haven't turned the heat on at my house yet.
Likewise, I refuse. I'm holding out.
Hard, fast rules November 1st here.
It's tough though, brother. It's tough.
It's tough.
man.
Yeah, it is tough treading. The other rule is 59 degrees inside the house. We're at 62 right now.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
damn.
have been,
Holding
we've been
strong.
Flirting. We've been flirting with 59, man. It's getting rough.
Yeah, everybody. I just want everybody to be, go out there, tread lightly, and be safe.
And what else?
Oh yeah, guys. Tottenham Hotspur action. It's and